Welcome to this next episode of YouTube, where I've entitled it Transition Time. And as you can imagine, that is what's occupying our time right now, is helping Shadow transition with the loss of a pack mate who was his genetic litter mate, brothers. And Shadow had actually never lived alone, whereas Malik had a period of time when he was alone. But so we're working on that, and obviously that's our focus right now. We have previous experience where we've seen some separation anxiety issues that have gone on for weeks, and so we're very mindful of that. And you'll see a lot of howling in this clip because there is quite a bit of howling going on between Grizzer and Shadow. And as I've said before, we're not going to do a possible reuniting of Grizzer and Shadow in the exhibit until we get rid of some of the snow and ice. As you can see here, him lying on the straw beds, he was a little slow to go down. He's 14, and no doubt that's an issue. So in this clip here, we are seeing a little bit of behavioral difference. This is what's called a modified RLU. So he's not lifting his leg like he would normally do, and he also is not scraping, which in the absence of a fellow pack member would mean that you're not going to dissipate your scent quite as much. So, but he remains alert. He's very, very engaged socially with a few staff members. We are seeing improvements on his behavior. He's eating just fine. He's taking food quite well, actually, and getting along quite well. It actually is Grizzer who is stimulating a lot of the howling. And so, like say, Grizzer kind of starts the howl and Shadow responds to it. Shadow's throat is still fairly hoarse, which I can relate to. Maybe it's an age-specific thing, but I'm going to let you listen to a few clips here of, again, Shadow starting a howl, or Grizzer starting a howl, Shadow responding. The other thing we look for is when do the wolves kind of return back to normal behavior. So Grizzer, like I said, he's been doing quite a bit of howling, but he's also going back to his social interactions, subordinate rollover, massage, getting wolf care moments. And so that's a real good sign. But one thing that we're finding between these two is that Shadow seems to want to howl when I'm with Grizzer, and Grizzer seems to want to howl when I go back with Shadow. So we're definitely seeing some interesting response from these two more than anybody, which obviously these are the two that are the closest to Malik and interacting with him. So again, Grizzer, low-throated howls, they typically mean separation issues. So the exhibit is responding as well, but it's mainly the males, not Luna, and you'll see why. Yes, Luna would rather eat a beaver than interact with the pack. She did howl, but she had other priorities. So the snow is getting a little bit wet. We're starting to get some warm weather, but we still have bouts of cool evenings that create some dynamics of dominance within the pack. And so you're seeing Aiden dominating over Denali, Luna dominating over Bolts, and this kind of thing goes on, especially those mornings when we've had temperatures near zero and the mornings are still a little cool. We start to see a little bit more of this dominance. So as you can see, things are still pretty active here. We will start to see things calm down as we get farther into April and May, and as temperatures start to increase, we hope to see some of this snow decrease. Now, it is going to be a very, very long time before that pile is gone, but it is occupying the wolves' time. They climb it, they sleep on it, they dig in it, they tunnel through it. It's probably one of the best things that we've had for stimulus in a long time, and it's certainly in our radar for our management plan that maybe every year we make a King of the Hill pile. But like I say, you can see that Denali's kind of getting the brunt of all three of them there. And that's primarily because Aiden is really kind of controlling that situation. So Bolts is doing actually better than we expected. He's the bottom. He's not really the bottom of the pack order because Aiden keeps Denali under control, but Bolts really likes Denali. There's a lot of social engagement. Bolts interacts well with Aiden. He seems to have really no issues whatsoever getting along with everybody other than the fact that Luna likes to chew on him a lot. So Denali has his moments. He knows when to back up and stay away. And it's these three, the 2-year-olds and Aiden, that seem to be kind of on the top of the hill quite a bit. So that's Luna. And then behind her is Bolts. And then behind him is Aiden. And Aiden really shows very little dominance over Bolts, and maybe because Bolts doesn't test much. So one other thing I wanted to end with was that somebody had asked me about the hat, and if you recall, Malik, an opportunistic wolf that he was, he used to like to steal my hat. So this is the wool hat that I was referring to many times during wolf care. He'd come up behind me and grab it off the top of my head, and so we did send that down with Malik and he was actually cremated with my hat. So anyways, so that's it for YouTube this week, and we will keep you posted. Again, Shadow has a lot of time. We're going to give him all the time he needs in order to try to be distracted and hopefully improve. And that's about it. So thanks for watching.